He got a hero's welcome at FCB when he took over, replete with Dhol, Tasha, and Shehnai, and their entire Mumbai office in attendance. Today marks a year since that day when Dheeraj Sinha was appointed as the CEO of India and South Asia at FCB. Thank you for joining us, Dheeraj.
Hi, Neeta. So good to be talking to you.
I want to know that welcome, while it exuded a lot of warmth, it must have also subconsciously translated into truckloads of pressure for you as the captain of the ship. How were your initial days at the agency? Was it nervousness that took over? Was it sheer confidence?
So I think I needed that, right? Because getting out of my previous company, you just get away from 600 people who love you so much. I think I just felt the same warmth and same welcome at FCB. I really needed that to come in, and in fact, the whole journey has been. I mean, that set the tone pretty much for our journey, right? I mean, looking forward, I would say it's been challenging, right? It's. I mean, you walk into a new role, a larger role from what you've been doing, new set of people, new set of clients, new culture, new targets and opportunities. So it's been a challenging year, but at the same time, it's been a fantastic year, right? If we look back on everything that we managed to achieve, whether in terms of talent or in terms of growth, in terms of winning new business pitches, in terms of promoting our own talent from within, and in terms of the work which is now coming out of the agency, it's been a very satisfying uh, year in that sense.
Okay. No, I'll come to the numbers a little later in the interview. But this is a question I have been asking you. And now that you've completed a year, I think you are in the right place to answer. What is the fundamental difference between a Leo Burnett and FCB? Let's go with 3 points.
See, I think AFCB is a larger network, right? We have three, four operating companies within the group, right? There's a full-fledged digital company in Connect. There's a very strong brand in FCB, Ulka, which has been here for many decades, has built really strong brands such as Amul, Tata Motors, ITC brands, now ICICI Bank, then we have a brand in FCB Interface, which is Mahindra and Mahindra, Down, and many, many other brands, and they're growing very well. And the youngest of the lot is FCB India, which is doing Uber, Google, now KFC, Bata, and so on and so forth. So it's a portfolio here. It's not one operating company. There are four operating companies, 1,200 people. But the biggest advantage is that in one P&L, Nita, we can go from very, very high-end strategy to mainline creative, to digital, to CRM, to data, to production, to media, everything in one shot. And that for clients is turning out to be a fantastic proposition because all clients are now saying that I need somebody who has a full view of my brand and full view of my portfolio. Otherwise, things are falling through the crack. So that, to my mind, is our largest advantage, and the positioning of FCB network globally around creativity. We talk about creativity as an economic multiplier. So everything we do, whether we're doing production or data, is all to support greater creativity. I think those are the fundamental shifts for me.
Okay, and also, there's always that comfort in the known, and because you had a tried and tested model in the previous agency. Did you feel you could recreate that, or did you give yourself a clean slate for experimentation at a
Yeah,
big network like FCB?
yeah.
And what
See the
really is the model at work at FCB today?
Yeah. See, the idea is not to take a model from one place and slap it on the other. That never succeeds,
Hmm.
right? So, as far as I'm concerned, I walked into FCB with a very, very clean slate in my mind, right? Because you walk into a culture which is so established, you have to first and foremost understand culture, right? You have to first and foremost understand client relationships, how clients are doing, what they are doing, and then build basis that. Is there change? Of course, there is change, right? But there's change with continuity. So we've kept everything that works very well for FCB, and then we are readying the organization and the culture and the clients for the future. Right. So I would say what we're building here is completely different, is not a replica of what I have done before in my past. That would not succeed. We are building basis what FCB's roots and ambitions are.
Every time I've spoken to you, you've always come across as this big proponent of young talent.
Yeah.
I want to understand from you, what was it like at FCB when you joined? From what I remember, it was more senior heavy, people who spent years at the agency. Was it easier to work with them than with youngsters?
So I think, I mean, even if you look at the book which Arvind has written on the Ulka Way, one of the tenets he speaks about is that advertising is senior people's
Hmm.
business, right? And I agree with that, right? I feel, and my example is say medical, right? You want to go to a doctor, you want to meet the senior most doctor, right? You don't want to get operated by the assistant doctor, right? So I agree with the Ulka philosophy that advertising is senior people's game. I've in fact always believed in that. Even in my previous company, I
Hmm.
said we are a blue collar agency, right? All of us roll up our sleeves and get into work,
Hmm.
right? So which is exactly the same as the Ulka philosophy, right? Our senior people, senior talent are in the room solving clients' business problems on a daily basis. Nobody is sitting in their cabin and running the company like a helicopter. So in that sense, it's a very similar culture. So
Hmm.
it was not hard in that sense. We've obviously put a huge amount of focus on growing the young talent at FCB. Incidentally, FCB always had a very ambitious Star One program.
Hmm.
I would dare say that it's the longest running campus hiring program that any agency has ever had, right?
Hmm.
And today in FCB, for example, Kulvinder, who's the CEO of FCB Ulka, joined us in the Star One program. So he is grown from an MT to a CEO. Ruchita, who we just promoted as president and head of office for interface in Mumbai, is also a Star One program, right? Rakesh, the CCO of Interface, also a Star One program. So we've had a culture of hiring the young talent and growing them like how like to
Hmm.
the peak of their career. So a lot of what I have believed in personally as well has been already in place.
Hmm.
It's a matter of just amplifying some of that a bit more, giving them more credibility, making them more modern and progressive. But it's not that I walked in and say, oh my god, this is a completely different culture than what I have kind of propounded on all my life, or what Ulkavi kind of says in the book. It's in that sense very, very similar and exactly the right ingredients for a winning
Hmm.
culture for an agency in today's
Hmm.
times.
Also, you brought in several first-time commanders to your army and not experienced generals. I think most of them leading the team today are either first-time CCOs or CEOs or CTOs. I mean, basically, who've been in the
Yeah.
top role for the first time. How has that really worked out for you, and what was the logic?
So I think almost everybody we've hired have been hired through a very thorough process of our top leadership, talking to them, finding the culture fit, even our global leadership, talking to them, making sure that. So we take a lot of time to hire,
Hmm.
and we've invested that kind of energy and time in getting all of these people on board. I would say that almost all the people we've hired have definitely had leadership experience. So it's
Hmm.
not that they are newbies on leadership experience. I mean, they've been either executive directors or CCOs or national creative directors in their previous roles. They've led teams. But more importantly, almost all the people we've hired in, say, creative and strategy or business have a track record of delivering. So in
Hmm.
creative, they've all had a track record of winning great building great pieces of work on their real businesses, winning winning great awards, winning effectiveness awards, moving the needle on clients' businesses, running large successful businesses, growing them four times. So almost everybody we've hired has had that
Hmm.
track record, right? And the idea always is to catch them just before they are beginning to bloom, and for
Hmm.
FCB to be the ground where the best talent in the country comes of age and blooms, and therefore takes the agency forward as well.
Okay, I also see some inspiration coming in from your former agency. I think there is Publicist Creative Council, and you just created something called the FCB Creative Council. And tell us literally what was the gap that you were seeking to fill with them when you thought about coming up with this.
Yeah. So the inspiration for the India Career Council is the Global FCB Council. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a GCC globally, which
Mm-hmm.
Andres, who was in the market a couple of weeks ago, leads it. And the job of the GCC is to come together, twice a year physically, and then stay connected through the year to
Mhm.
build the culture of creativity, to take on the best pieces of the work globally, help them get better, work with clients, run workshops with clients, on a regular basis, and so on and so forth. So that's exactly the model we've replicated for the India GCC,
Mhm.
right? So because we have four different companies and there are four independent companies, the idea is for each of the four companies to run independently, have their own set of clients, their own set of work, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we also wanted the group to come together as a force,
Mhm.
right? For clients to have access to multiple very very senior creative leaders at one go if
Mhm.
they need so. So that's the reason we built the India GCC, right? And our belief always has been that two is better than one, right? We are a big believer of we rather than I, and we believe that more people coming together and more ideas colliding together works very well for our clients and for our agency.
Very interesting that this was a global phenomenon. It came to FCB India just after you took over.
Yeah.
Nice. And tell me, what is the most significant achievement of this creative council since you put it together?
I think they've about 2 weeks back,
Mhm.
we did a India GCC review, and at least there were 20 great ideas on our current client businesses, which are very, very spectacular. So the whole idea of putting work in focus and discussing work and getting work to shine. We had clients join the India Global Creative Council meeting. We discussed ideas, we batted ideas, they had inputs, and the work is in progress. I would say that's the biggest achievement right now because they're coming together now to create work. And for me, that's the most important thing.
And now let's talk about the past 1 year and the significant account wins of FCB in India. And how many were there, if you could put a number
Yeah,
to it?
so I think we won about 54 businesses as a group put together, all the four companies, upwards of about, say, $3 million in revenue.
Mhm.
Uh, so there have been a lot. I mean, significant was being say SBI, uh, KFC, and so on and so forth, right? Shoppers Stop and many other. I can't name all of them right now. I don't have the list. But I think we've had a great, great haul as far as new business is concerned. I would say that we've won the most significant pitches in the country this year,
Mhm.
which is very heartening.
And you were also touted as this agent of digital change at FCB when you came on. Uh, so how many of these were digital accounts which may have been out of reach for FCB earlier because of maybe traditional heavy thinking?
Actually, uh, a lot of our digital businesses were always accessible to us. For example, if you look at all the wins at Connect are digital down. But
Mhm.
interesting, a lot of wins at Connect now are across the board as well. I mean, we are getting mandates at Connect. We are doing the main brand work as well. So
Mhm.
we are doing the main brand work and digital, and those barriers are fast vanishing because we've invested in talent which can do both. So Connect is going from just being a digital company now to being able to solve any problem in that
Mhm.
sense. So we've never had a problem of access to digital only businesses there. Interface also has always had a digital ability, and some of the accounts even before I joined were
Mhm.
integrated accounts. So we've just amplified that, and I mean there are many businesses now we are signing across the board. They
Mhm.
are across the board through the line integrated mandates rather than saying digital only or mainline only. And I think increasingly that's the way the industry is going to go. I think the barriers between this is a digital account and a mainline account is going to vanish very, very soon. And we are seeing that pattern across the board on clients.
Mhm. So while Connect is becoming more mainline, I think your other agencies you're saying that are
Yeah,
becoming more
yeah,
digital heavy.
yeah. So finally, I mean, every agency can, I mean, they become a solution agency and they can do everything.
And another addition, I think, was FCB6 to your the CX and performance offering in India.
Yeah,
And it has seen remarkable success
yeah.
globally. Has it managed to replicate that here in India as well?
Yeah, I mean, the FCB6 growth is through the roof, right?
Mhm.
We are so excited about FCB6 growth because in data, CRM, digital media, and they are very high margin businesses as well. So I'm a lot of the growth for Connect, in fact, has been driven by the six offering. And we are amping up that. We are having more and more people getting certified in Salesforce. We are investing hugely on data. We are investing hugely on CRM. We have large mandates on CRM from many, many clients. So that's one function which has grown through the roof for us this year.
And I don't want to I don't want to sound like Tyler, like you told me last time. But what is the percentage by which the agency has grown in the past year, and what is the target for the coming year? Now that you've officially settled.
See, we've grown very high double digit uh, this year, which is very healthy growth, I would say. In fact, scary to some extent because if that becomes the base for the next year. But we are very bullish. We are very bullish on India. We are very bullish on the fact that we've got the whole talent stack ready. Our clients are doing well. This year has been a good year for the economy as well. And if you look at our client portfolio, most of our clients are reflective of the growth of the Indian economy. So we have automotive clients, we have FMCG clients, we have bank clients. So put together, they can make a consumer index for the country. So if the country is growing, we are growing. So it's been a good year, and I think it'll be a equally good year next year, hopefully.
Could you give me a rough percentage of growth? You said it has been fabulous.
I'm not sure I can reveal that here on this.
Hmm, okay. So you have a team in place. Is the next thing on agenda starting more nuanced, specialized verticals? Because while we've seen much being done on that front, we've not seen much being done on that front in the past year. People, yes. Newer services, not so much.
So, I mean, the reason for that is because a lot of newer services are already there, right? If you look at data practice, if you look at CRM practice, if you look at digital media practice, if you look at influencer practice, we launched FCB now, which is our platform tie-up with platforms such as Meta, Google, Amazon Mini TV, Share Chat, Moj, etc. That is one part which was missing, which we've launched. We are pushing up production in a big way. So to be honest, I think what I got handed over already had all of these practices in place. So there was no need to reinvent that wheel, right? Our job is to make sure that those practices scale up, we make the right investments in them, and everything gets integrated. The job really is at that and not at the end of launching new services because all of them are in play already. I think Rohit and team and everybody else did a great job of doing that.
So no new services on agenda as of now.
Yeah.
Coming to Can 2024, now it was a dampener because you won one silver. While
Yeah.
that is great for most agencies, for
Yeah.
FCB specifically, I would say it was a demotion, a break in your winning streak and also FCB's winning streak.
Yeah.
And we've oft heard the agency leaders say that Can is a byproduct, not the goal.
Yeah.
Most often than not, they do have a gun to their head. So
Yeah.
is there a gun to the heads of your newly elevated leaders like Neville or Mayuresh, maybe? And what is the war cry sounding like for Can 2025?
Yeah. So I think the way FCB works globally is very different and very refreshing in that sense. There are no guns to anybody's heads, whether it's on revenue target or on can targets, right? Having said that, the pressure is internal. Right? I mean, because we've got talent who won in the past, they want to win in the future as well, right? So we all want to do well because we've done well in our lives, right? So the pressure is really internal. Having said that, the way I'm seeing this, Neeta, is I'm not seeing this as a sprint, right? Do we want to win? Yes. Is can important? Yes. Can is important to win on our current businesses and for the right categories, right? And I am allowing myself and my leaders a window of 12 to 18 to 36 months to get to where we want to as an agency, right? We have sown the seeds, right? And the fruits are bearing. I mean, if you look at firstly the quality of work which is coming out, whether it's on Uber or Google, the two pieces of work which just broke, they're very interesting pieces of work. So I'm happy about that as well, right? And then we'll catch up on the can game as well. So that's really the approach. The idea is to do great work, right? Have a focus on winning, but we are not saying that, oh my God, what happens if it doesn't happen in the next 3 months? That's not the approach, because then you will begin to do quick fixes, and that's not what we are here for. We are here to build a long-term, sustainable, highly creative company on
Mhm.
real business.
I remember recently seeing that Vogue-like photo shoot with your creative council. Let me ask you, why have you taken an agency with the most colorful logo to one that identifies only with black now?
So it's not. I think it just looked cool for everybody to wear black that day, because it's a smart color. I also like black because it makes sure that everybody's at the same page. There are no hierarchies in the room.
Mhm.
Nobody wears a CEO hat in the room. Nobody wears a VP hat in the room. It's our jersey. It makes everybody look equal, and it hides a
Mhm.
bit of a fat that we end up gaining. It's just very simple reason like that.
So black is the new equalizer.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not that everybody's wearing that. I mean, people are free to wear what they wear. I mean, right now we have Navratri going on. So if you were to come on the floor, you'll see all kinds of colors on the floor.
Okay. And lastly, I remember you said you want to go back to writing. Will we
Yeah.
see that book while you are at FCB, or has it again been put on the back burner like your Binet leadership days?
See, right now it's on a back burner because we are in a zone of hyper building,
Mhm.
right? But I would imagine that I mean it should come out at my FCB stint.
Super. Great. May you continue to build FCB the way you would want to and take it to great heights. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Dheeraj.
Thank you so much, Neeta.